Welcome in, everyone, to our second half of our weekend doubleheader of Hamilton Bulldogs Interactive Trivia. Voice of the Bulldogs, Duthie, back with you second day in a row. So happy to be back today. We go from the office yesterday, completely away from the hockey realm. Today, we'll have the NHL and its teams, and this is one I'm very excited about. I wrote the questions myself for this one. We've got questions that range all the way from very easy to difficult. I hope everyone that jumps in today is going to learn something. And this was a lot of fun to be a part of. So that is very exciting for today. One thing before we get going, and as usual, if you've been with us before, we usually allow 10 minutes or so, let everybody get loaded in. And if you're looking to play today and it's your first time with us, you open up a separate browser, whether you're on your desktop, laptop, iPad, iPhone, smartphone, tablet, whatever you've got, go to crowd.live in your browser and enter the code QOYX4. That's crowd.live in the browser, code QOYX4. And that will bring you in to play with us here today. Now, before we get really rolling with anything, I wanted to start by getting some folks' opinions on what you want to see next. What trivia contest would you want to see as we go into the month of July? So you don't have to tell us right now. You can think about it. You can send us messages to let us know. But let us know what you want to see in the month of July for Bulldogs trivia. Is there a topic you want? Anything along those lines? We're happy to take the suggestions. We're looking for ideas all the time. And we want to get ideas directly from the folks that have been following along and playing with us, because you guys have been the best. And, of course, speaking of the best, as always, today's game is brought to you by our great friends at Royal Lepage State Realty. Could not do this without their support. So, again, we're letting everybody load in. It'll be about 10 minutes before we get going. Go to crowd.live on whatever computer or tablet or the smartphone that you have and enter the code QOYX4. Rose Lawson says Seinfeld trivia. Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun. That show I know quite a bit about. We could have some fun with questions for Seinfeld trivia. That's probably one that we'll have to lock down. Bulldogs trivia part 2, general OHL trivia from Andrew Oliver. Okay, that's a good idea. We could do that one. Katie, Simpsons trivia. Oh, there's another one right up my alley. Seinfeld and The Simpsons. Two shows that I probably watched more than I should admit as a kid. They were staples in my parents' house. All right, so as we're letting everybody load in, a reminder that the Bulldogs are looking for billet families for the 2020-2021 season. Again, I've been talking about this a lot. If you saw the Bulldogs live episodes, the alumni edition with Brady Johnson and Kate Landry, you saw the connection that the players and the billet families have. You want to be a part of that. It is a very special opportunity, and they do definitely become a part of your family. You can ask any of the billet families, any of the players. They will tell you the exact same things. Bulldogs 50/50 Canada Day raffle. It's in support of the Bulldogs Foundation and Hamilton Health Sciences Foundation. It's in partnership with Sonic Union and CHCH-TV. The heavy hitters are in on this one. Before we went live today, it's over $1,200 on the 50/50, and you still have until Canada Day to get in on that. Bulldogs5050.com. Support a couple of great causes. Today's trivia. Prizes are the same as they were yesterday. T-shirt, mug, hat, $50 gift card for first place. Second place is T-shirt, mug, and hat. Third place, T-shirt, mug, and hat. And again, share this stream and comment in our chat for a chance to win a $150 BulldogShop.com gift card at the end. So anybody who shares this stream across their social media and comments in our chat gets their name entered into a random draw. And at the end of the trivia game, as soon as the 30th question is over, we'll announce the top 3 winners for the game and who won the random draw for the BulldogShop.com gift card. And once again, just thank you to our friends at Royal Lepage State Realty. Could not do this without them. I'll have more from them as we get into our questions. We'll have those breaks in between after the 10th question And after the 20th question, let everybody catch their breath, and I'll have a little message from our friends at Royal Lepage State Realty. All right. Stephanie says she's not playing today, just following along. Dalton Hannes, good afternoon to all. I'm looking to have some fun. Absolutely. Michael, hello again. All my best pals. And Dalton's still in. I'm assuming that's Wasaga watching. That's fantastic. All right. Distance watching. That's fun. And, of course, today, the NHL and its team. So this contest today spans the history of the National Hockey League. So this is going to be fun. We've got questions that pretty much take you all the way up to current day, but go all the way back. So there may be some guesswork involved for people when you don't know the answers. That's fine. I'm sure that there's going to be some that are going to stump some folks. But you know what? That's why we have those 4 options. There are no writing questions today that I know of. All of our 30 questions have the 4 options. So you have a shot at 1 in 4. If you don't know the answer off the top of your head, just give it a go. Sean Bingham, hey everyone, happy Sunday. Hey Sean, nice to see you again. Just past 6.5 minutes. Again, we'll give everybody about 10 minutes to load in. And if you've got ideas for trivia for July, again, keep those rolling in for us. We've had the ideas of number 2, part 2 of Bulldogs trivia, which is general OHL, Simpsons trivia, Seinfeld trivia. I mean, all those are great options. Nicole, you should take up Michael's suggestion from yesterday in trivia of the Bulldogs head office. Can we get to 30 questions on that? That might take some thinking. Might be able to pull that off. I'll have to get back to everybody on that one. Not sure that we can get to 30 questions, but we might be able to see what we can come up with. Definitely general OHL, Simpsons, Seinfeld, great suggestions rolling in for what we could do in July to continue just having some fun as we roll along this summer. Alfredo, hi dogs. Welcome in. Glad to have you along. So again, if you're new, if you're just jumping in, you go to a separate browser on whatever device you're on, whether it's computer, tablet, smartphone, go to a separate browser, enter crowd.live, and then the code QOYX4. Again, code QOYX4 at crowd.live. That'll get you into the game today. And again, today's trivia all about the National Hockey League and its teams. This one is going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun. And I've got some little notes about the answers as well that I can share with you after the question answers show up. So this one's going to be a lot of fun. This one, of course, right up my alley. Fancy myself a bit of a historian when it comes to the game and that sort of thing. So that is going to be a lot of fun. Very excited to see how this one all plays out. So crowd.live, enter the code QOYX4. Yesterday was a lot of fun. The Office was the topic, and we had a battle right to the end for those top 3 positions. Katie, when are the next lives going to be? Katie, I'm guessing you're talking about lives with the players. We are working on those right now. So busy time just at the moment. Import draft coming up this week. But we are working. I don't think I can put out the names yet, but we are working on 4 right now. Getting dates and lining up 4 new live episodes. I'm hoping they're all going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'm very excited to get back to those. They are a lot of fun, and I really enjoy being able to bring those to everybody and interact with the players while we're all away. And we've got some new players coming on board this season. They would be fun to get on. Of course, some of our veterans, they're always enjoyable to have along. So I believe there's 4 that we're working on right now that we're hoping to have come up very, very soon. Michael, Skippy equals Evan. Oh, yes. Yeah, I know Evan very well. Work with Evan a lot. Great guy. A lot of fun to be around. Very funny guy. And, of course, if anyone saw the video of his training regimen for getting back to the office, Evan is excellent. He is a lot of fun. Andrew Oliver, NHL draft trivia, another idea for the future. I don't think we addressed too much of the draft in today's game. So, yes, that would be a good one to have for future reference. So, Andrew, nice pick on that. And again, Andrew, congratulations on winning the $150 gift card yesterday. Andrew was the winner of the random draw. So anybody that's commented right now, share this live stream, and you can get in on that $150 gift card draw. We've passed 10 minutes, so one more time, just give folks just a little bit here. Crowd.live in a separate browser, QOYX4, to be able to get into the game today. Again, topic is the NHL and its teams for today's edition of Hamilton Bulldogs Interactive Trivia, the NHL and its teams. A familiar name is going to pop up at one point during these questions as well, and people talking about the Bulldogs front office. There's a familiar name that comes up in one of these questions. So that I'm hoping everybody will get that one right. All right. If we can, Quizmaster, and that, of course, is my – oh, Katie, liked and shared. Fantastic. Thank you very much. You're in on the draw. The Quizmaster is my good friend and partner on these, Storm Harding. Storm, if we can go to question number 1. What is the record for goals in a single NHL season set by Wayne Gretzky? Is it A, 72, B, 76, C, 85, or D, 92? What is the record for goals in a single NHL season set by Wayne Gretzky? And of course, he did this while playing for the Edmonton Oilers. 72, 76, 85, or 92? And this is one of those that's never going to be broken. Correct answer is D, 92 goals in a single season. 9 of our respondents got that one correct. 60% of all answers got that one right. 92 goals for the great one in that season. Very impressive record. Question 2. What team merged with the Minnesota North Stars in 1978? Was it A, the Cleveland Barons, B, the Colorado Rockies, C, the Minnesota Fighting Saints, or D, the Calgary Cowboys? In 1978, this team was going under, and they merged with the Minnesota North Stars. Was it the Cleveland Barons, the Colorado Rockies, the Minnesota Fighting Saints, or the Calgary Cowboys? 2 seconds and 1. Correct answer is A, the Cleveland Barons. And, of course, that led to Dennis Maruck and Joe Meloche coming over to the Minnesota North Stars. 6 of you got that correct. 35% of our respondents got that one right. Question 3. Which 4 teams merged into the NHL from the WHA in 1979? Was it the New England Whalers, the Atlanta Flames, Kansas City Scouts, and California Golden Seals, Oakland Seals, New York Americans, Philadelphia Blazers, and Denver Spurs, Birmingham Bulls, Cincinnati Stingers, Indianapolis Racers, and Ottawa Nationals, or New England Whalers, Edmonton Whalers, Winnipeg Jets, and Quebec Nordiques? Which 4 teams went from the WHA to the NHL in the merger in 79? Correct answer is the Whalers, the Oilers, the Jets, and the Nordiques. It was, in fact, the WHA, and 13 of all our answers got that one correct. It was the WHA that a lot of Canadian fans have to thank for getting teams. That was part of the agreement to merge into the National Hockey League, was that they had to take 4 of the remaining 6 teams in the WHA. The WHA did try to get all 6 in, but Cincinnati and Birmingham were denied entry, and that's how the dispersal draft started. And the hockey world would look a lot different if all 6 of those teams had gotten in. In fact, Mark Messier would have ended up a Cincinnati Stinger. Same with Mike Gardner. Question 4. The Montreal Canadiens have won the most Stanley Cups in NHL history. How many have they won? Is it 16, 24, 22, or 18? 16, 24, 22, or 18. How many Stanley Cups have the Montreal Canadiens won for the record? 10 seconds left. Last one was 1993. And actually, the commentary of that told you how many banners were going to be in the Montreal Forum. It is 24. 24 times the Montreal Canadiens have hoisted the Stanley Cup. 13 of you got that correct. 81% of all respondents got that one. What a record. That's going to take a long time for anybody to challenge. In the 1989 playoffs, Mario Lemieux scored 8 points in a single game, tying the record set in 1988, 1 year earlier, by which New Jersey Devils winger? Was it Brendan Shanahan, Pat Verbeek, Patrick Sundstrom, or John McClain? In 89, Lemieux scored 8 points in a single playoff game to tie the record set a year earlier by which Devils winger? Shanahan, Verbeek, Sundstrom, or McClain? 2 seconds and 1. Correct answer is C, Patrick Sundstrom. And I figured that one might get a few people split on the answer. Sundstrom had 3 goals and 5 assists for 8 points in a single game in 1988, which was also the first year that the New Jersey Devils franchise had made the playoffs. Question 6. The Toronto Maple Leafs last won the Stanley Cup in 1967. Who scored the cup-winning goal in Game 6 against Montreal? Was it A, Jim Pappen, B, George Armstrong, C, Dave Keon, or D, Tim Horton? In 1967, when the Leafs won their last cup, who scored the cup-winning goal in Game 6 against Montreal? Pappen, Armstrong, Keon, or Horton? 2 seconds and 1 left in the question. Correct answer is A, Jim Pappen scored the cup-winning goal in Game 6. One of you got that correct, only 6%. Jim Pappen, not a name that is really highly remembered in Leafs history, but he had a big role in winning that 1967 Stanley Cup. When you look at the other names that were on that Toronto Maple Leafs team, wow, were they loaded. That was a great team. I mean, Armstrong, Keon, Horton, that tells you pretty much all you need to know right there. And to beat the 67 Habs, that was a really good Leafs team. Who has won the most Stanley Cups as a player? Is it A, Mark Messier, B, Jean Beliveau, C, Henri Richard, or D, Glenn Anderson? Who has won the most Stanley Cups as a player? Was it Mark Messier, Jean Beliveau, Henri Richard, or Glenn Anderson? And I can tell you from that list, there is a ton of Stanley Cups between those 4 guys. 2 seconds and 1. Correct answer is C, Henri the Pocket Rocket Richard, younger brother of Maurice Richard. 11 of you, 65% of all answers, got that one correctly. Henri Richard won 11 Stanley Cups as a player. So let that sink in for a second. You talk about records that will never be broken. Henri Richard won 11 Stanley Cups as a player with the Montreal Canadiens. That's insane. Question number 8. Who is the only player to win the Conn Smythe Trophy, which is the playoff MVP, 3 times? Is it Martin Brodeur, Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr, or Patrick Roy? Who is the only player to win the Conn Smythe Trophy 3 times for playoff MVP? Brodeur, Gretzky, Orr, or Roy? 2 seconds and 1 left. Answer is D, Patrick Roy. 1986, 1993, 1996 for Patrick Roy. 4 of you got that one correct. Pretty impressive record for Patrick Roy. Who is the last player to win the Conn Smythe Trophy on a losing team? Was it Reggie Leach, Jean-Sébastien Giguère, Glenn Hall, or Mario Lemieux? Who is the last player to win the Conn Smythe Trophy on a losing team? So this team went to the finals, lost the finals, but a player on that team won the Conn Smythe Trophy for playoff MVP. Leach, Giguère, Hall, or Lemieux? Correct answer is B, Jean-Sébastien Giguère. And that was the year that he pretty well carried the Anaheim Mighty Ducks to the Stanley Cup Finals. 13 of you got that correct. 76% obviously remembered that run quite well. J.S. Giguère was magnificent during that run for the Anaheim Ducks. And had Paul Kariya not been knocked out, you never know how that series might have ended. That'll bring us to question number 10. Who was the first Soviet player to appear in the NHL? Was it Alexander Mogilny, Vyacheslav Fetisov, Viktor Nikayev, or Alexei Kasatonov? Who was the first Soviet player to appear in the NHL? Alexander Mogilny, Vyacheslav Fetisov, Viktor Nikhaev, or Alexei Kasatonov. All four of these players did play in the NHL, but which one was first? Correct answer is C, Viktor Nikhaev. Born in the Soviet Union, he actually debuted with the Los Angeles Kings in 1982. Alexander Mogilny and Vyacheslav Fetisov were next in 1989. But Viktor Nikhaev was the first. So we are through our first 10 questions, and Andy sits atop the leaderboard, 525 points. JJ is second at 516. Reggie Dunlop at 508, and then we are compacted all the way down the board past number 13. Everyone there over 200 points. So there is a tight race, and I mean, Dean Youngblood is sitting like right behind the top three. So this one is tight through our first 10 questions. So everybody take a quick breath, get a quick drink of water, and we have a quick message from our great friends and sponsors at Royal Lepage State Realty. Shouldn't you rely on a professional to help you find your perfect home in the perfect neighborhood? With over 40 years experience, 300 licensed realtors, and access to exclusive listings, you can trust the team at Royal Lepage State Realty to help you buy or sell your home quickly and for the best value. Because helping you is what we do. To start your home search, visit royallepagestate.ca. We would not be able to do this without their support. If you joined us a little bit late, today's prizes: t-shirt, mug, hat, $50 gift card for first, t-shirt, mug, and hat for both second and third. As well, if you share this stream and comment in our chat, you have a chance to win a $150 BulldogShop.com gift card at the end. That's done by random draw. That'll be announced after question number 30. As well, the Bulldogs 50-50 Canada Day raffle is underway. Bulldogs5050.com to buy tickets, and that is in support of the Bulldogs Foundation as well as the Hamilton Health Sciences Foundation in partnership with Sonic Union and CHCH. It was well over $1,200, I believe just shy of $1,300 before we went live this afternoon. So that means in less than 24 hours, it's grown about $300. So it is moving quickly, and I'm sure it is only going to get bigger from here. All right. Let's see who's in the chat right now. It's all sideways. We're struggling a bit today. Still 20 questions to go. Dustin Reynolds says, good luck. Good luck to you, Dustin. And hope we have this leaderboard tighten up even more as we go along. Again, if you're joining late, you can still jump in. Early and correct answers will get you a ton of points to jump up the leaderboard. Crowd.live code is QOYX4. All right, let's head in to question number 11. Who is the oldest player to win the Calder Trophy as NHL Rookie of the Year? Was it Brian Berard, Peter Stastny, Steve Larmer, or Sergei Makarov? Who is the oldest player to win the Calder Trophy as NHL Rookie of the Year? Berard, Peter Stastny, Larmer, or Makarov? Who was the oldest to do it? 2 seconds and one left. Correct answer is D, Sergei Makarov. He was 31 years old when he won the Calder Trophy, playing with the Calgary Flames in 1993. 7 of you got that one correct for 39%. Came out of the Soviet system at 31 years old, jumped to the Calgary Flames, and had a really good run in the NHL, did Sergei Makarov. Question 12. Who was the first Toronto Maple Leafs player to score 50 goals in a season? Was it Rick Vive, Daryl Sittler, Matt Sundin, or Doug Gilmour? Who was the first Toronto Maple Leafs player to score 50 goals in one season? Vive, Sittler, Sundin, or Gilmour? Boy, and that is quite the list of Toronto Maple Leafs talent right there. I'd take any of those guys on my team, I'll tell you that. 2 seconds and one left. Correct answer is A, Rick Vive. And a lot of local fans in the Hamilton area may have seen Rick Vive, not just with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but with the Dundas Real McCoys as well. 8 of you got that one correct. 44% of our responders got Rick Vive as the first Toronto Maple Leaf to score 50 goals. Which former NHL team became the New Jersey Devils in 1982? Was it the New York Americans, the Cincinnati Stingers, the Colorado Rockies, or the Kansas City Scouts? The New Jersey Devils franchise timeline has a long and strange history. Which of these former NHL teams became the Devils in 1982? The New York Americans, the Cincinnati Stingers, the Colorado Rockies, or the Kansas City Scouts? 2 seconds and 1 left. Correct answer is C, the Colorado Rockies. So the Kansas City Scouts, 14 of you got that one correct. Really well done, 78%. The Kansas City Scouts were the original expansion. They became the Colorado Rockies in the late 70s. And then in 1982, that team moved from Denver to New Jersey. And it took until 1996 before Denver got their team back when the Quebec Nordiques moved to Colorado. They've had a pretty good history there since. Question 14. Wayne Gretzky is the all-time leader in points for the Edmonton Oilers. Mark Messier is third. Who is second in Oilers history in points? Is it Paul Coffey, Yari Curry, Glenn Anderson, or Doug Weight? Gretzky is first. Messier is third in Oilers history. Who is second? Coffey, Curry, Anderson, or Weight? And again, there's a whole lot of Stanley Cup rings in between the guys mentioned in this question. 2 seconds and 1. Correct answer is B, Yari Curry. Second all-time in points by an Edmonton Oilers. 7 of you got that correct. 39% of all responders got that one. Yari Curry actually would then follow Wayne Gretzky to the Los Angeles Kings, where he continued to have a tremendous career when he moved over there and joined talent like Luc Robitaille and great system that they had in L.A. Question 15. Which former NHL team was sold to Hamilton in 1920 to become the Hamilton Tigers? Was it the St. Louis Eagles, the Montreal Maroons, the Detroit Cougars, or the Quebec Bulldogs? This one way back in the history of Hamilton hockey. Which former NHL team was sold to Hamilton in 1920 to become the Hamilton Tigers? The Eagles, the Maroons, the Cougars, or the Bulldogs? 2 seconds and 1. And, of course, this one is an interesting comparison. It was, in fact, the Quebec Bulldogs that got sold to Hamilton in 1920 to become the Hamilton Tigers. 9 of you got that correct. 50% of all answers got it right. The Tigers would stay 5 years in the city of Hamilton. The National Hockey League was founded on November the 26th, 1917. But what was the first season the original 6 teams all played? Was it 1917-18, 1922-23, 1942-43, or 1967-68? The National Hockey League was founded in 1917, but what was the first season of the original 6 era? 17-18, 22-23, 42-43, or 67-68? It was, in fact, 1942-43 before the original 6, as it's been known, were actually the 6 teams in the league. 3 got that correct, 17%. There were a number of other teams that came in and out of the National Hockey League up until that point, and then it was 25 years before the NHL would expand again. Which of these teams was not part of the, quote, next 6 expansion in 1967-68? The Buffalo Sabres, the Philadelphia Flyers, the California Seals, or the Los Angeles Kings? Which one of these 4 teams was not part of the next 6 expansion in 1967-68? The Sabres, the Flyers, the Seals, or the Kings? Which one was not part of the expansion? Correct answer is A, the Buffalo Sabres. They did not come along until the second phase of expansion. The Flyers, the Seals, and the Kings were all part of the next 6. 7 of you got that one correct. 39% of all respondents got the Buffalo Sabres as the team that was not part of the next 6 expansion. Which team joined the NHL at the same time as the Washington Capitals in 1974? Was it the Atlanta Flames, the New York Islanders, the Vancouver Canucks, or the Kansas City Scouts? All four of these teams joined in the 70s, but which team joined with the Capitals in their expansion in 1974? Atlanta Flames, New York Islanders, Vancouver Canucks, or Kansas City Scouts? Quote the great Doc Emmerich, 2 seconds and 1. Correct answer is D, the Kansas City Scouts. 3 of you got that correct. 17% of all answers got that one right. The Scouts in 74, the Rockies in 78, the New Jersey Devils in 1982, and they've been safe there ever since. Question number 19. Which NHL team was Hamilton Bulldogs president and general manager Steve Staios the captain of? Was it the Edmonton Oilers, the Atlanta Thrashers, the Boston Bruins, or the New York Islanders? Which NHL team was Hamilton Bulldogs president and GM Steve Staios the captain of? The Oilers, the Thrashers, the Bruins, or the Islanders? 2 seconds and 1 left. Correct answer is B, the Atlanta Thrashers. Steve Staios was the second captain in the history of the Atlanta Thrashers. He followed Kelly Buchberger, who was the captain of the expansion team. And 11 folks guessed the Edmonton Oilers. Good guess, but Steve was not the captain of the Oilers. He was the captain of the Atlanta Thrashers. 33% of you got that right. The Montreal Canadiens hold the record for most consecutive Stanley Cup championships. How many did they win in a row? Was it 8, 10, 5, or 7? The Montreal Canadiens hold the record for the most consecutive Stanley Cup championships. How many did they win in a row? 8, 10, 5, or 7? 2 seconds and 1. Correct answer is C, 5. 1956 to 1960, the Montreal Canadiens swept the Stanley Cup. That's been followed. 12 of you got that right. Very impressive, 71%. 2 teams have followed them with 4 straight Stanley Cups. The Edmonton Oilers and the New York Islanders both did that. And of course, it was the Oilers who stopped the Islanders from equaling the Montreal Canadiens mark of 5 in a row. Montreal's still the only franchise to have won 5 Stanley Cups in a row. Very, very impressive stuff for the Montreal Canadiens franchise. All right, after 20 questions, JJ sits atop the leaderboard at 961. Dean Youngblood is second in a tie with him at 961. And Reggie Dunlop sits third at 909. 500s are on the board. We're still 400 all the way down to 16th place. So a lot of questions still left. 10 to go to be able to make your way back up the leaderboard. Again, if you're answering the questions in the chat, I would encourage you to jump onto crowd.live and go to QOYX4. Jessica Vardy, stop using Google, guys. You know what? That would have made my life a lot easier. I actually did these questions off the top of my head, which may say a lot about me. I am a nerd. There is no two ways about that. All right. Today's game is brought to you by Royal Lepage State Realty. Shouldn't you rely on a professional to help you find your perfect home in the perfect neighborhood? With over 40 years experience, 300 licensed realtors, and access to exclusive listings, you can trust the team at Royal Lepage State Realty to help you buy or sell your home quickly and for the best value. Because helping you is what we do. To start your home search, visit royallepagestate.ca. Could not do this without them. Great friends and partners. Again, if you joined us late, today's prizes, t-shirt, mug, hat, $50 gift card is first prize. Second and third both get a t-shirt, mug, and hat. Share this stream and comment in our chat. You still have time to enter in for that Bulldogs $150 gift card, which will be announced after question number 30. It is decided by random draw. We have no control over who wins it. If you comment in our chat and share this stream, you have a chance to win. And just like being the placeholder team in the NHL entry draft, you have equal odds as everyone else that's in this draft. 50-50, Bulldogs5050.com. It is the Canada Day raffle in support of the Bulldogs Foundation and the Hamilton Health Sciences Foundation. It is being done in partnership with Sonic Union and CHCH TV. Again, yesterday when we went live, it was right around $1,100. As we went live today, it was right around $1,300. That was less than 24 hours. So it is growing quickly. Get in and be a part of that. Your chance to win, as well as to be a part of a great cause. All right, let's check out our chat group. As Dean Cassidy says, let's go Bulldogs. I mean, that is always the feeling, right? And I can tell you just by looking at the roster that Steve Staios and company, who we mentioned is in one of our trivia questions put together, it's going to be a good season. It's going to be a really fun season. Katie says, woot. Sure. All right. Not really sure what that means, but all right. I like it. It looks energetic, so we will go with it. Okay. Let's jump back into our questions. Question number 21. Who were the last two goaltenders who were traded for one another to face each other for the Stanley Cup in the same season? Was it Rogie Vachon and Gilles Gilbert, Andy Moog and Bill Ranford, Patrick Roy and Jocelyn Thibault, or Pat Riggin and Pete Peters? Who were the last two goaltenders traded for one another to face each other for the Stanley Cup in the same season? Vachon and Gilbert, Moog and Ranford, Roy and Thibault, Riggin and Peters. 2 seconds and one. Correct answer is Andy Moog and Bill Ranford traded for each other on March 8th, 1988. Andy Moog went to the Boston Bruins. Bill Ranford went to the Edmonton Oilers along with Jeff Courtnall in a second-round pick. 10 of you got that correct, 63%. Moog and Ranford would face each other in the 1988 Stanley Cup Final, and again 2 years later in the 1990 Stanley Cup Final. Both times, Bill Ranford comes out on top. In '88, Grant Fuhr was still a part of the Oilers as well. But Bill Ranford and Andy Moog traded for one another, faced each other twice for the Cup. The records for goals at 410, assists 1169, and points 1579 by a defenseman are all held by the same player. Who is it? Nick Lidstrom, Paul Coffey, Brian Leetch, or Raymond Bourque? The records for goals, assists, and points by a defenseman are all held by the same player. Who is it? Lidstrom, Coffey, Leetch, or Bourque? Can you imagine having all four of those guys on the same team? Holy smokes, that is four great defensemen. Correct answer is D, Raymond Bourque. 410 goals, 1,169 assists, 1,579 points. He holds the record for all three, and he was only fourth in the history of the game in terms of games played by a defenseman. 5 of you got that correct at 29%. I still say he stands only behind Bobby Orr as the greatest of all time in terms of defensemen. Of course, Bobby Orr, the best player to ever do it. Who is the only player to win the Norris Trophy, the Art Ross Trophy, the Hart Trophy, the Conn Smythe, and the Stanley Cup in the same season? Is it Denny Potvin, Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr, or Doug Harvey? Who is the only player to win the Norris, the Art Ross, the Hart, the Conn Smythe, and the Stanley Cup in the same season? Potvin, Gretzky, or Harvey? 2 seconds and one. Correct answer is C, Bobby Orr. In the same season, won the Norris Trophy as the best defenseman, the Art Ross Trophy for leading the league in points, the Hart Trophy is the league MVP, the Conn Smythe Trophy is the playoff MVP, and the Stanley Cup with the Boston Bruins. What an incredible season. 10 answers got that correct, 59%. 6 of you went with Wayne Gretzky, which is a great guess, and he did win all of those trophies except the Norris. Not a defenseman. He was not eligible to win the Norris Trophy. Who was the first goaltender to wear a mask in the NHL? Was it Jacques Plante, Terry Sawchuk, Gump Worsley, or Frank Brimsick? Who was the first goaltender to wear a mask in the National Hockey League? Plante, Sawchuk, Worsley, or Brimsick? And again, all 4 of those legendary goaltenders, but who was the first one of them to wear a mask? He took a puck to the face and then said he would not return to the game until he was allowed to wear the mask? Correct answer is A, Jacques Plante. Jacques Plante was the first man to wear a mask. And, of course, from there, Peter Newman, correct. Canadian Heritage Moment. 15 of you got that correct, 88%. He was the first one to wear the mask. And then, of course, the first one to have the painted mask was Jerry Cheevers. And then from there, we've seen it just explode into some of the amazing designs you get today on goalie masks. But we owe it all to Jacques Plante. Question 25. Who was the last player to play in an NHL game without a helmet? Was it Doug Wilson, Randy Carlyle, Rod Langway, or Craig McTavish? Who was the last player to play in an NHL game without a helmet? Doug Wilson, Randy Carlyle, Rod Langway, or Craig McTavish? They were the last 4 to do it, but who was the last one left? 5 seconds left. Wilson, Carlyle, Langway, McTavish. It was D, Craig McTavish. Last played in an NHL game in the 1995-96 season with the St. Louis Blues. He was not wearing a helmet. And if you go back and take a look at that era, well, it is weird to see Craig McTavish without a helmet in 95-96. 13 of you for 76% got that one correct. Yeah, the video footage of players without a helmet is still very strange to go back and take a look at. Moving on to question number 26. Which of these teams have never won a Stanley Cup? Is it the Philadelphia Flyers, the Buffalo Sabres, the Washington Capitals, or the Carolina Hurricanes? Which of these teams have never won a Stanley Cup? The Flyers, the Sabres, the Capitals, or the Hurricanes? 10 seconds left. One of these teams has never hoisted the big mug. And the correct answer is B, the Buffalo Sabres. It's been a little while since Philadelphia has done it, but the Sabres have never hoisted the Stanley Cup in their franchise history. 15 of you got that correct, 88%. Question number 27. Which team was the last WHA champions before entering the NHL the next season? Was it the Edmonton Oilers, the New England Whalers, the Winnipeg Jets, or the Quebec Nordiques? Which was the last WHA champions? They won the Avco Cup in 1979 before joining the NHL the next year. The Oilers, the Whalers, the Jets, or the Nordiques. All 4 of those teams joined the NHL. Which one was the last Avco Cup champions? It was C, the Winnipeg Jets. At that time, led by the Golden Jet, Bobby Hull. 5 of you got that one correct. 29% of all answers got the Winnipeg Jets. They were a dominant force in the WHA. They owned that Avco Cup. Question 28. Who is the oldest player to have ever played an NHL game? Is it Gordie Howe, Chris Chelios, Maurice Roberts, or Bobby Hull? Who is the oldest player to have ever played an NHL game? Howe, Chelios, Roberts, or Hull? Some great options here. 2 seconds and 1. Correct answer is Gordie Howe. He was 52 years old when he played for the then Hartford Whalers in the 1979-80 season in the National Hockey League. Played alongside his sons. 82% of you got that one correct. 14 correct answers. Question 29. Who are the only father-son pair to win the Hart Trophy? Is it Gordie and Mark Howe, Bobby and Brett Hull, Peter and Paul Stastny, or Lionel and Brian Conacher? Who are the only father-son pair to win the Hart Trophy? Gordie and Mark Howe, Bobby and Brett Hull, Peter and Paul Stastny, or Lionel and Brian Conacher? 2 seconds and 1. The correct answer is B, the Golden Jet and the Golden Brett. Bobby and Brett Hull are the only 2 players to have ever won the Hart Trophy as a father and son pair. 16 of you got that one correct. 94%. And we come to question number 30, the final one. Who was the first trio of brothers to play on the same team at the same time in the NHL? Was it Peter, Anton, and Marion Stastny, Ron, Rich, and Duane Sutter, Max, Reg, and Doug Bentley, or Barclay, Bob, and Bill Plager? Who was the first trio of brothers to play on the same team in the NHL? And they were line mates. Was it Peter, Anton, and Marion Stastny, Ron, Rich, and Duane Sutter, Max, Reg, and Doug Bentley, or Barclay, Bob, and Bill Plager? Correct answer is C, Max, Reg, and Doug Bentley. Now, Barclay, Bob, and Bill Plager, as well as Peter, Anton, and Marion Stastny, all played on the same team together, but Max, Reg, and Doug Bentley were the first ones to do it with the Chicago Blackhawks. Nobody got that one correct. I thought at question 30 I might fool some people with that one. Peter, Anton, and Marion did it with the Quebec Nordiques. Barclay, Bill, and Bob Plager did it with the St. Louis Blues. Ron, Rich, and Duane Sutter never played together, but the Sutters hold the record in NHL history for having 4 of the brothers, 4 of 6, playing a game at the same time, 2 and 2 against one another. That was my good one at the end to try to throw some folks off. So first place, Dean Youngblood wins it today, 1,625 points. Reggie Dunlop is second place at 1,606. And JJ at 1,526 is third place. Michael, have to be 60 to know half of these. I'm 32, and I made all the questions off the top of my head. Just for the record. Arthur Atkinson, you've never heard of the Stastnys. They were a great combination. They were a great combination. The participation award, It's All Sideways, has picked up the participation award today. Congratulations, as you will get that $150 gift card for BulldogShop.com. So congratulations to all the winners today. Dalton Hannes, good history lesson. That's kind of what I was going for today, Dalton. Wanted to throw in some questions that people might pull away some knowledge they didn't have coming in about the history of the game, the NHL and its teams. I thought doing everything in the 2010s would be far too easy to at least get some cool questions and some stuff that folks may not know that they may be able to learn with. Went back in time, pulled some stuff from history. Thought it worked out pretty well. So again, today's first place winner got a T-shirt, mug, hat, and $50 gift card. Second and third both got T-shirt, mug, and hat. And of course, sorry, that's the wrong one. Please directly message us with your nickname and email if you won a prize today. We will provide you instructions for prize pickup. So our first 3 winners, as well as It's All Sideways, please get a hold of us. We will get you your prizes. And of course, once again, Bulldogs 50/50 Canada Day raffle, Bulldogs5050.com in support of the Bulldogs Foundation and Hamilton Health Sciences Foundation in partnership with Sonic Union and CHCH-TV. Again, yesterday before we went live, it was coming up on 1,100. Today before we went live, it was coming up on 1,300. So it is moving quickly. We have until Canada Day. So get in on that. One more time, thank you to our friends at Royal Lepage State Realty for putting this on with us. We could not do this without them. Some great folks at Royal Lepage State Realty, and I'm sure we'll be working with them again as Bulldogs Interactive Trivia rolls in to the month of July. Sean Bingham, Clint Benedict of the Montreal Maroons in January of 1930 was technically the first goaltender to wear a mask, but he did not do it in the NHL. That is correct. That is correct. Michael, again, Reed, most of us weren't born before these questions were created. Again, Michael, I'm 32, and I came up with all of them. It was partially to have some fun with this. I was wanting everybody to be guessing today. Too many people knew all the correct answers in the last ones we did, especially with Bulldogs trivia. Too many people knew every single one of these answers. I wanted people to have to make a guess here and there and hopefully learn something about it. So hopefully that was what was accomplished. And I hope that everyone had fun. Sean Bingham says, I am awesome. I don't know about that, Sean. I think I'm just having some fun. I hope that I am, but this was really a lot of fun to be a part of. And was great trivia. Thank you very much. Yeah, I wanted to do this and have some fun with it. Andrew Oliver says, I knew the McTavish question would come up. Nailed all of the Oilers questions. Michael, no, it's no problem. Don't worry about it. It's all good, man. Kennedy, thanks, Reed. It was fun. I hope everyone had fun. Again, we are going to continue to do these. We got some great suggestions for stuff that we can do moving forward. Simpsons, Seinfeld, OHL, general questions, all stuff we can do moving forward. If you think of something, please reach out to us. Let us know. We are looking for ideas, and we want to have some fun with you as we move through the summer. So again, if you want a prize today, please message us with your nickname and your email, and we will see you next time on Bulldogs Interactive Trivia. Thanks for joining us.